The Wolfpack, baby, well, it's only just begun. Howling at the moon, we found abundance in the sun. Wolfpack, 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 Wolfpack. Life is beautiful, ayy. Wolfpack, life is beautiful, what? And life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Yeah, life is. Wolf, huh.
Hey guys. How's everybody doing? I gotta say, for something we do so infrequently, this is one of the things I look forward to the most.
Oh yeah,
Me too.
me too.
I've never heard that intro with these headphones.
Me
Andrew
neither.
fucking rips. I was hearing the beat. I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's nice to hear because in my $30 airport headphones, it was kind of sounding like ass.
You should borrow mine.
That was really healing. Thank you, EJ.
Anytime, just for you.
All right. We'll go around the horn quickly. This is the Wolfpack podcast brought to you by Kootenai Yoga School. I'm Lochlin Cross. You're the next
I'm Sarah.
winner, EJ.
Me? Oh.
Oh, I'm DJ.
Okay, we're gonna have some
And
problems
I'm
with
Andrew.
Lisa's Andrew and Sarah. Awesome.
I'm
Okay,
Sarah
the reason
again.
why we have Lisa on is because she sponsors this podcast and she
Definitely
runs
She's the best.
Kootenai Yoga School, and she's the reason why we all met. So we wanted to bring you on for our second episode. We should have brought you on for the first one, Lisa. Yes. But one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we highlight some of the programs that you have happening. We'll end on Bali. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have happening right now? I know you've been sending out promoting some deals and things like that, but you still have some courses for the YTT available for 2024, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got tons of programs still left for this season on Isla Mujeres. From now until, all through. Actually, the programs in September are on 50% off. So, I mean, for around $70 a night, you can take the program. And out in California, same thing. We have programs until November 30th, 25% off. We just want to finish off the last of the season and get those filled out. And yeah, we're really excited about just kind of like a cool way. The summer is always really exciting for us because we have sort of a surplus of students. The fall, it's a little, anybody who's interested in coming should for sure reach out to us. Even if they don't want to take the program, we'd be happy to have them for sure.
And if you're looking for any information whatsoever too about Kootenai Yoga School, you can reach out to any of us as well. Myself, EJ, Sarah, Andrew, we all can provide you with links and information about the courses. Andrew and I have both been now to the Kootenays, and we've been to Joshua Tree. I would like to go to Mexico.
Come to
Sarah,
Mexico, Locke.
EJ,
It's so nice here.
Look,
EJ and
please,
EJ and
huh?
Sarah. Oh my God.
Please
Uh-huh.
bring Sarah some sunscreen, Locke.
It's beautiful. Hell no.
She's a golden goddess. Leave her alone.
It would be. Never a drop of sunscreen.
My
We
pale
get-
ass.
If we get a little closer to Sarah's face, we can see she's beating in sweat. She's still.
I'm dripping. I'm in a liquid state, actually. It's impossible not to be.
Please hydrate. Please hydrate. Before we let you go, Lisa, let us know a little bit about the because we're going to have a lot of Kootenai Yoga School alumni watching this, whether they watch it live or after the fact. We're going to have a ton of people that have been to the Kootenai Yoga School, either in Mexico, in Joshua Tree, or the off-grid experience in the Kootenays, just outside of Christina Lake. tell us a little bit about a program that you have for January.
Yeah, so the plan for January is essentially grabbing together, just want to hang, travel, enjoy Bali, explore what is the area, goals or desires around getting their YASA education. For example, and that it's 45 hours per two, like each second calendar maintain your license. So we're going to be kind of like, once people sign up and they're there and they're doing, Sarah's going to be meeting with them, kind of just chatting about what their goals are, and then they can also achieve it. This is a super, super affordable way to just kind of come and do kind of like it's not like a work stay or something like this, but it's kind of like a nomadic living sort of situation where everybody's just coming together in a collaborative way to share one residence, do yoga, hang out, and tour around. So it's going to be a really wonderful experience. And so everybody who's going to be there is cool, because we won't be sending the link to people who aren't cool, right?
Well, and the interesting thing about it, yeah, past grads. And the interesting thing about it too is you blocked off weeks in January. So you get the first week, the second week, the third week, the fourth week, and people can pick based on their schedules, right?
That's right. Or they can do the entire chunk. Right?
That's awesome.
And you can bring a spouse, you can bring a partner, you can bring a friend, however that it is. So the concept is just like being around cool people, hanging out, touring the area, and have the same objectives as you, but doing yoga every day, a seminar per week. Sarah's only, if people want to dive a little deeper, they can coordinate that directly with Sarah.
Definitely.
And she's going to be in advance of the program, so they have the opportunity to kind of share about their objectives.
Are you Sarah, you're going, right? Are you going for the full month?
Yeah, I'll be there the full month.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Lisa,
are you coming?
I wish I could. I have no idea. Like, I've just recently moved, and I.
Oh yeah, how is it?
I can't give a lot of the details, but I started a llama farm.
No.
Please tell me you're not joking. Please tell me you're serious.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Lisa, listen, really we love you, and thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, I love
and we'll have to have you back. Yeah.
Love you so much.
Lisa, we love you.
Love you, Lisa.
So Lochlin, Andrew, EJ, when you guys should head back down to Mexico, or you should head down to Mexico. I mean, Andrew, come on in. We've got some kind of concepts and some ideas and things that we'd like to get you up.
Yeah, let's keep in touch on that. And please, before you go, I want you to just give Chuck my best, please.
I will.
All of our best. Always.
Off the deck.
We'll be like, who are these fuckers? I have no idea.
Yeah, tell Chuck that they say hi. Don't include me.
No, include me. Say it was just from Lochlin.
Yeah, say Lock really wants to make sure you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you guys.
Lisa.
Love you,
Thank
Lisa.
you. Thank you for sponsoring our crazy little podcast, Lisa.
I love you guys.
You.
And I'll see you tomorrow, Sarah.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
That's crazy. All right.
Incredible. I like the dark hair Lisa. She feels like she's down to business.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Hell
yeah. She's amazing. We want to do a show on authenticity, and before we get started, I kind of want to set the sort of the ground, like set the idea of what it is that we wanted to do. We wanted to have a topic for all of our podcasts, right? And we've gone back and forth multiple times about how to have a discussion about authenticity, which I think we can do. And we've kind of settled in on we're gonna bring a couple of points about authenticity to the table and then discuss them. So it's not going to be a real specific topic and a real organized conversation, but I think it's an important one to have, especially right now with the world that we're living in. Is that fair to say?
Hell yeah. Super important. Always, but now especially.
Okay, I'll start, and then you guys can play off this. Here's my thought about authenticity. I think with the world that we're living in and how long we've been dealing with social media and how technology has changed our lives, I think people are going to seek out authentic voices more and more. And there is going to be not just a craving, but almost a need for authentic voices in the world that we live in. And I think people are already doing it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I think people already are like seeking this out, and more authenticity is getting more and more popular. People are stepping away from the mainstream.
You know what I see in my world is live, which you can't hide yourself. And we're live tonight. And it took me some time to convince these three who
What
are
are we
not
live on, by the way?
We're live
Yeah,
on.
where are we?
Like it's 3
I tried.
in Frankfurt. I don't know.
I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Is we have a producer and I couldn't get in touch with him today, so we were going to try a bunch of things. Lindley has something come up in his life, so I'm live, but I was going to try to go live on your guys' platforms as well. But we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on Twitter right now.
Ooh.
Maybe you shouldn't have told us that.
Okay.
People can watch this after the fact too, but we are live right now, and
That's authentic.
that's authentic. And the thing that I love about live is once you get in, that's it. There's no going back, and I can't explain it. I get a rush from it.
Ooh, yeah.
Like,
And you love to see us squirm a little too, a little bit.
There's that. Not so much EJ and Sarah, but you, Andrew. But that's our dynamic. But I love the live elements of broadcast, and I love that ability that people are watching us do this now, right now, and there's no turning back. So I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. And you know what? I seek it out in the things that I watch as well and listen to. Like if somebody tells me that they're doing a live podcast, I would be more inclined to jump in and watch that. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I think it has something to do with authenticity. EJ.
Yeah, it's more raw. You can't really hide anything, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's scary though.
Why?
Why? Well, I think we really value authenticity, but to be authentic, it's really vulnerable. You're showing up and you're like, here I am. People are going to like it, and there's going to be someone that doesn't, and I have to be okay with it.
Well, I also think authenticity in itself is elusive, and I'd assume that all 4 of us have a different definition of authenticity. So maybe we start with each of our definitions of authenticity.
I like that. I didn't think about that.
And break it down. So I guess with that, I'll throw my first idea of what I thought authenticity meant to me. And to me, it's closest to source. So like closest to pure action without thought. And I think that's where it ties into this live broadcast is everything here is source. It's just coming from something internally that's telling us to move or speak. And when you edit or you record something and then go back and you get to watch it, there's room to tweak it and make it inauthentic. So in a way, being live is like, it's as authentic as you can get because it is the source.
Can you say that again?
Which part?
The beginning part.
I actually can't. Like, I literally can't.
He channeled that from source.
I'm out. That's it.
It's from source.
It's 3 a.m. in Frankfurt. I'm trying to figure out what's what.
That was
You got that 3 a.m. source there.
Yeah.
I like.
that's sort
I
of-
really.
Yeah.
There is some authenticity in being up early because it's hard to
Hell
think.
Yeah. It's a God hour.
True.
Ooh, I like that.
I really like that, Andrew. I'm glad you started. Sarah, your definition of authenticity.
Authenticity for me is, I agree with what Andrew said for sure. It's when you're pure consciousness, like you're straight from yourself without thinking about any filter or anything. Like any rules or what people will think of you. For me, it's also a feeling in my body. I can feel when I'm being authentic, as like my body is relaxed, my breath is calm, my heart rate is normal. And if I say or do anything that's not aligned, I instantly get like a pressure in my chest and like a higher heartbeat, and even my body starts to feel feel weird or like not calm anymore. I get anxiousness. It's a feeling of relaxation, and I know right away. It's also a way to tell if someone is being authentic too, because if I start to feel anxious around someone, it means that there's like a feeling, there's something under the surface that they're not saying. So I can tell it in myself, and it's like instant right away. I get this like, oh, why? Like even if it's just a small misalignment. But and it works with other, like to feel if someone's authentic too. If my body feels relaxed and my breath is calm and my heart is calm around them, then it's like, okay, they're being themselves. But if any of that changes, then I know that like they're maybe not saying everything that or they're not being, whatever they're saying is not matching what they're feeling inside.
Wow. Okay. I don't want to go
I
now.
love that. I love that.
EJ?
Follow that.
That all landed. No pressure.
Authentic-
I know.
EJ,
I really
authenticity?
I resonate with what both y'all are saying. So I grew up very much a people pleaser, very much a chameleon, and I'm very good at popping into the role for different groups. And to me, authenticity is no role. It's just me. So as I'm learning to be more authentic, to me, it feels really liberating and really exciting, but it also feels like I'm in this boat and I have no life jackets and like whatever happens, I have nothing to protect my heart, but like it's so raw and here I am, take it or leave it. Yeah, no masks, I would say.
I struggled with this topic because I wanted to put parameters up around it. I wanted to put these guardrails and have this really nice conversation about it. So every time you guys were presenting things, I was like, no, we can't do that. Because I can't live in that idea of what it is that you guys want to do to present this topic. And I think a lot of it has to do, for me, with the fact that for whatever reason, and I don't want this to sound arrogant or egotistical, but I feel like I have always just been myself from a very young age.
That's so
And
good.
I didn't fucking care what people thought about me. And so over the years, being like that, I was very triggered by people that weren't. So you saying, Sarah, that you felt that anxiety, I didn't necessarily, it didn't sort of manifest itself as anxiety in me when I saw somebody, I was angry.
But I get that too.
It wasn't anxious. I wasn't
It's
anxious. Like,
frustrating.
I was just like, what
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing? You're not, no. Just be
Just be
yourself.
real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I've tried to figure out what it is, why I'm triggered by people that I feel aren't being authentic. And so I've struggled with it. And here's the other thing. I think some people are authentic, but they're dicks. And they're just living. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Or
Yeah,
it just doesn't align.
100%.
Yeah. And so and I find those people I relate to, not because I'm a dick, but because I don't get triggered by the fact that they're being dicks. I'm like, well, you're just a dick because you're just a narcissist, and that's just the way you live, and that's just the way you're wired. And so the authenticity piece really sort of throws me for a bit of a loop, because I think some people just pop out of the womb and they're little shits and they live their best lives. And you can't change that. And unfortunately, that's really authentic, because they don't care what anybody else. Sarah, you want to say something?
I do, because I agree with you. I love when somebody is authentic, like if they're a dick, if they're honest, like when they're upset, when they're like anything like is refreshing. It's better if someone's like, yeah, not in like saying the right thing or whatever, if they mean it. But I think like you said, narcissism is a paradigm of consciousness. And usually this paradigm comes from like a pain that they're covering with narcissism. So I don't see like something like narcissism as being authentic. They're just being dicks to other people because they hurt on the inside. So I don't feel that that's it. It may feel authentic because they're usually like super like good with people, and like they can say whatever because they don't care what people think. They don't feel for others. So that may come across a lot of the time as authenticity. But what's underneath that narcissism is actually like a deep wound and pain that blocks their heart, and it makes them treat other people in a certain way. So something like, I agree with you when people like say something and it's like just truthful and you can feel it and you're like, yeah, like, you know, it's not the right thing to say maybe, or it's like definitely like not the majority of people are going to have that opinion. But in these like antisocial kind of personalities, people may seem like they're being authentic because they're just like, don't give a fuck about what others think. But there's a huge thing underneath that. It's a mask. It's a role that they're playing. And when they're by themselves, or when they're, you know, when you really see them, like there's usually like a really scared person there.
Why are narcissists so good at hiding that though?
Because they're usually empaths who have been hurt. So they can feel people and know exactly how to read the emotions of others. And because they have blocked themselves from their own emotions, they use this in the reverse. And you could be empathic and have a lot of compassion for people and how they feel. But if you're in the reverse where your heart is blocked, then you're going to use that empathy for manipulation and getting what they need because they don't have any love inside. So they are going to take it, and it doesn't actually have to be love. It can be negative emotions from people too. But because they're so depleted of energy, they are going to just feed from other people all the time. And in any way that they can. And it's honestly, like it's something that, a paradigm of consciousness that can be shifted. Of course they're good at it because they can read people, they can feel people. They've probably had some really deep emotional experiences themselves that they've now been like, you know what, that was too much. So I'm now just gonna, instead of making their own love and their own light inside themselves, they're gonna just squeeze it out of other people. And in any way, it can be a positive emotion or it can be a negative emotion. That for a narcissist, and there's so many different kinds and so many different like ways that it manifests, from like super light things to like really like malicious things. But there's levels of it, and it is it's like, if you think of it as like a paradigm, like a lens to see through, it's something that in our consciousness, like we can transcend, or we can live. Like our world is in a narcissistic state at the moment. Right now, it's
Very.
a huge over narcissistic, which, you know, narcissism is a lack of energy in the heart chakra because of grief, because of abandonment, rejection, like, and some of these like really like hurtful things.
Yeah, I'm not
Like
angered.
they usually have like the biggest pain in the world, but they're really difficult personalities to deal with because they're really, it's difficult to change. It depends on the level, for sure. There's also people like who are raised by narcissists, and they are then have something I've heard called narcissistic fleas. So they may not be like a classic, like a real narcissist, but they're going to be someone who displays these qualities because that's the only thing that they knew. If they were raised by a real narcissist, then it can come onto them basically into behavior patterns. And then they may not actually be one, but they're going to display all these qualities of it. And probably maybe not even be aware of that. Maybe even think they are a narcissist, or like they are a bad person. But there's a difference between a real narcissist and someone who has like the fleas, or whatever you want to call it. Like it's passed through behaviors of observation from a really, really young age. And their heart will be blocked because if they were raised in that kind of environment, then they weren't given the right support or the right love to grow in a healthy emotional way.
That's amazing. I can't believe it. I've never heard anybody break down narcissism like that. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Andrew.
Yeah, that was, first of all, really well put and beautiful piece you put together there, Sarah. For the sake of conversation and just to stir the pot a little, I'm curious if someone they're blocked in the heart and they're hurt and they're acting narcissistic, what would make that different from someone who's open in the heart and open and showing love, and like that is their source of energy? So like for a narcissist who's blocked and their heart's hurt and this is the way they're acting, like in a way, wouldn't that be authentic if that's what they're feeling? Just as someone who has an open heart who feels love is expressing love.
That's why I'm confused by that. Sarah.
Yeah, you could say they're being authentic.
But you both said authenticity is close to source. But I feel like if you're a narcissist, you're ego driven, and that's as far from source as you can get.
Hell yeah. It's ego driven. It's not source. So there's a huge difference.
You know,
source is like light.
EJ brought something up that I'd like to sort of dig into a little bit here. And you, that look, you brought up something. You brought up something that suggested that you have found ways to fit into different groups, and that maybe that, I don't know if am I projecting here? Are you thinking that is a lack of authenticity, or do you think? Because I found it surprising when you said that because I find you very authentic and very real, and so are you a little bit self-conscious about that with respect to this topic?
I feel like I'm a little Dawn on its legs, learning how to be authentic and real. So sometimes I feel like when I'm too much myself, I'll go back into my little shell. But yeah, if you're people pleasing and putting on a mask for each group that you're going in, it's exhausting and it's so not you. And you have to remember who you are with every person. And then when those two groups come together, you have this whole conflict within you because you don't know which one to be because both groups are there. And I feel like you really lose. Those are the people, and I'm only speaking from experience, where you don't know who you are because you've been 25 different parts for 10 years.
But the thing I find interesting about you, EJ, is that, I mean, from the first evening of overindulgence in certain substances, you were very open about the idea that you are a people pleaser and that you went out of your way to try to be that person, which I think is authentic with respect to the fact that you are at least aware of who you are.
Yeah, I think awareness is a huge piece of authenticity.
Yeah. You dug it out. Good job.
Points for Locke.
Awareness.
Awareness is nice.
But we all do it though, EJ. Everybody does it on a certain level. We are all looking for acceptance, and that could change from one group to the next. I mean, look at the struggles we had in the off-grid in the Kootenays, trying to get love from Chuck. Right?
And you know, the more we let it go, the more he'll love us. It makes perfect sense.
And I'll say it. We said it before we got started. I'm pretty sure he loves me the most out of all four.
Oh,
Fucker,
man.
he probably does.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you believe that, Locke.
Thank
you. I need it. Thank you, Sarah.
I think it's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting Chuck love is like trying to get that little piece of eggshell out of the egg yolk.
Ooh.
Where like if you go too fast at it, it actually swims away from you.
Yeah.
And so Locke has his finger in there, and he's like, "Oh, I must grab it." And then I
made scrambled eggs this morning, and I had that issue. It took me 30 minutes, and I burnt the tip of my finger.
No.
I can't believe you brought that up. Brilliant. I knew we would find a way to bring Chuck Love into this podcast.
Chuck, we hope you're listening. And we love you.
Shout out.
Also, we came up with an alternative name for the podcast, Wolfpack or Daddy Issues.
Perfect.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
Okay, does anybody have any other comments about authenticity?
Yeah, I'm in Frankfurt with my dad right now, and I brought the topic up to him, and we instantly kind of lit up thinking about, okay, how do we find the most authentic restaurant? And we started to go on a walk and a journey to find one, and something we found in authentic restaurants was an effort to be a type of way. Like, we would stumble upon a restaurant that felt like they almost designed it to look German and appeal to tourists, and like there's a concept of trying to make it look a certain way, where the authentic restaurants were like they were built that way because they liked the design, like this was the way they wanted to build it. So I think there's something in there in like I guess you could draw a parallel to your own personality, and when you're trying to be any type of way, it's like authenticity repellent. But when you just are how you are inside, then it's authentic.
That's wild that you can compare people to a restaurant. Isn't that like that authenticity kind of lives in those two worlds and probably can reach out into another, right?
Yeah.
You know what I think something, because I didn't really get to say my definition of
Let's hear it.
Yeah,
of authenticity, and I wrote it down without knowing that we would go this direction. I don't know what it is. I can spend 30 seconds with somebody in a room, and I know if they're comfortable with who they are. They may be struggling with stuff. They may be going through something personally They may be in a relationship, not in a relationship, drinking too much, out of work, out of money. Like I can literally, and I don't know what it is again, and I don't want to sound like an egomaniac, but I've always been able to find authenticity from people. And I can't always put my finger on it, but I will literally get my sniffer on you. And if you're trying to be something that you're not, I show zero interest in you. I'm done. Which kind of explains my collections of people, but of friends and people that I choose to spend time with, because they're generally on different planes. Here's the other thing that I find with authenticity is if somebody is trying too hard to be part of, and EJ, this isn't a shot at you because you're very self-aware of this. If somebody is trying to be trying too hard to be a part of a group and like ticking off all the stereotype boxes, I'm sorry, I can smell it on you, and I got no time for that. Why am I such a dick?
No,
No, that's beautiful. People want authenticity.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think like for me, for sure, I've been in situations in my life where I'm fitting in, or like I know how to fit in with different people and different scenarios, and like there are some times when like
That's
we
different,
use our
Sarah,
avatar.
that's different. That's different,
Yeah,
though.
there is a difference. Like you can still actually channel yourself and fit many different places. This is actually a huge possibility of a chameleon. So, but you have to keep like some essence, but you maybe just choose, and it can be useful. Like sometimes you need to, like change a little bit or something like that, but your essence, like who you are, is going to stay the same. Like we have many, many different layers and many different sides. But the soul is something different, like the ego, the mind, which can be useful. We don't have to kill our ego or, like slay the ego. It's not like that. We join it and we use it as a tool, like a useful thing in our lives. But the soul is something different. It's something that you share with people who you resonate with, and they'll know when you have your little different faces, maybe in different scenarios. But you can still like be a little bit different place to place, but still keep an essence, I guess.
This
I
last,
agree with what you're saying. Oh.
Go EJ, go.
When the ego is driving, like we want to be part of the tribe, that human instinct, we want to survive. So if we are authentic, but the tribe doesn't like it, there's this innate fear that we'll get kicked out of the tribe. That's it. We die. It almost puts you in fight or flight mode to show up with that trust. But Sarah, you said this last episode, when you find people that you can be authentic with, it's incredibly healing. And being with y'all, it's like no masks, no ego, just effortlessness, just soul. And it starts to create these patterns in your mind where you can look and say, well, there I'm accepted. So if I'm accepted there, I can totally be accepted somewhere else. And it gives you a little bit more courage to be like, okay, I'm going to show up a bit more authentically here and see what happens.
Yeah. And we did talk a little bit about how Sarah brings that out of you. I do get that from her. Like when she walks into a room, I'm like, okay, you just kind of let your guard down and relax a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there was a moment when we were off grid. It was the first time we met EJ, and one of the first nights that we kind of spent up too late. We were up too late talking, and I saw EJ the next morning. We were getting breakfast ready, and she came like wandering up to the breakfast cabin or whatever. And I said, "How are you doing?" And the first words out of your mouth were, "I can't believe I shared what I did last night," without even saying what you shared. And I had to go back and go, what did she say?
What did she say?
I don't know, but she was thinking about it. It was in her head.
And nobody knew.
And then you just kind
That's
of on a
rad.
heel.
That's why I
Just kind of on a heel,
Funny,
grabbed
yeah.
coffee and split. And I was like, what was it? And I'm still not sure.
I can't even remember.
That's
But see,
so
that's how
freeing.
rad y'all are. It's like nothing stood out to me
It just
as weird.
flows, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
and we were all just chatting. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
nobody thought like, oh, that was weird, or like anything
Mhm.
that we shared. All like we
Nope.
just naturally were easy, like talking with each other like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're in a good space. That's such a good feeling. And
I can be pretty guarded myself too, right? Like I pick my
Really?
spots. Oh yeah. 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 I
He's got
think
his pockets. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to the spiritual side and some of the tarot card stuff. You
yeah,
can
but
feel
that's
his walls
witchcraft.
go
That's
up.
different.
But you are very real about your feelings about it, and we accept it.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
I do
nice.
love that. I love it.
really
When
is
you
nice.
when you pick the card and you just put it down and walk away.
I
You're just like,
was so bothered.
Yeah, because it hits you right in the soul.
yeah.
The one in Joshua Tree out of the back of your Toyota, I was just like, this, I've had enough. Can we go home? Yeah.
Yeah, it's deadly picking any type of card in the back of Face Before Runner.
Yeah. So I have a question, and I don't know where we'll go with this, but
Ooh.
I'm hoping I get an answer. So I have been in the yoga community now for 10 plus years. I had an injury, got into it begrudgingly because I was never that guy. I mean, all my exercise revolved around taking part in sports, right? Baseball, hockey. That's how I got my physical activity. Got hurt, tried to heal myself, found yoga because everybody was bringing it up. You should do yoga. I'm like, geez, okay. Look bad. So anyway, I start doing yoga. And then after a couple of years, after really enjoying it on my own, I tried to explore. I get involved in studios. I never really felt, I shouldn't say that. I loved the studio environment, but I always felt like I was an outsider taking part in an activity that I shouldn't be taking part in. And I got more and more involved in yoga. And over time, I wanted to explore the teaching side of it. This last 6 months of being unemployed opened up that opportunity. And for some reason, I think I have become more authentic jumping into the world as much as I have in the last 6 months. And I haven't been able to figure out why. I've got some work to do on that. But there's something about this community and something about yoga that has even drawn more authenticity out of me. Given me this offering of you can even be more of yourself. And I'm not exactly sure what that is. I can't put my finger on it, but you guys have been sort of entrenched in it longer than I have, and maybe you have an answer for me. I don't know. Sarah?
Yoga, it brings us more awareness. Like it starts with body awareness, and then breath awareness, but then it brings us more and more awareness of who we are. So the practice itself, like, just gets us closer and closer to the center. Yoga is union. So we're meant to make union within ourselves and union with everything. So we start to understand, or realize is a better word. We start to realize more and more who we are, and that we're not just a human body. We're much more. So we bring more and more awareness. I also think that when we practice yoga and we are around more like-minded people, more people who are aligned in the same vibration, it lifts us, and we can then be more and more of ourselves. So I think the community, where it's like, and yoga too, like we're practicing things like self-observation and observing our minds and observing our behaviors, our belief systems. And this is like, you know, it's deeper yoga than just doing the asana classes. But this is really the heart of what yoga is to realize that we don't have to fit in a box. In that, there's a history of yoga movie that I show sometimes. I think I showed it to you guys in the course, but it's like,
wasn't that weird anatomy guy, was it?
No, it's not the weird anatomy. I love that guy.
He gets such a bad rep.
He does.
He does.
He's just out there, his little skeleton.
Best pretzel style in the game.
He does, right? Yeah.
It takes too much time between words.
But it says in the other movie, not the anatomy guy, the history of yoga movie. It says like as many humans as there are, that's how many gods there are. That's how many pathways to consciousness is what they're saying. It's like everybody inside. The more we follow ourselves, and this is a huge part of yoga, is to teach our connection to ourselves, so we can hear from other people. We can, study the sacred texts, and it's a great thing to do in yoga. But to listen to the inner voice is the most important thing, and to get your inner wisdom, to communicate with yourself and to not take anything that anybody says as true unless you really feel it, you really experience it. So yoga, it is a study in cultivating more and more awareness. That's all yoga is to become more aware, more aware, more aware. And when we're more aware, we're more authentic, and we feel it when we're not. So that is also, that's the biggest thing that on my path, I when I'm not authentic, my body shuts down. I feel super weird and then really bad. And so it's like I can't even step away from it. With more awareness, it's impossible. Whereas when I was younger, I didn't have so much awareness. So I had more of these like people-pleasing qualities or changing characters and becoming the character as well. Like sometimes I didn't know that I wasn't the character. But with more awareness, it's impossible to not know who you are.
I like that. I think that's how we got to wrap up today, guys.
Yeah,
that's it.
Mic drop.
This mic, dude.
It changes everything.
Came into my life today. Shout out to Kevin. Thank you very much.
Yes, good job, Kevin.
And Britney Spears. Yeah. Well, thank you, guys. When's the next full moon? Did anybody look that up?
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yes.
I want to say one thing about the Pisces full moon. It's a huge full moon.
Yeah.
And it's a partial lunar eclipse. EJ, if you have anything to add as well, like it's the Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. So it's like a compilation of all. It's a huge end of a cycle, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's about even like soul contracts that are not healthy, anything in your life that holds you back. The Pisces is the fish. It's under the waters. It's all about intuition, dreams, psychic senses. So anything underneath the surface that is not jiving, it's going to be amplified on the full moon and leading up to the full moon as well.
So much these past weeks.
It's coming at us. So it's
shadow work, baby.
It's a perfect time for shadow work.
Yeah.
It is exactly the perfect time for shadow work. And the eclipse.
It's a time to call on Kali.
Kali, she should be with us.
Ready for you.
Oh, show.
Yeah,
please
We're going to have to do some research. I have no idea what you guys are fucking talking about.
Ooh, that should be a whole episode, Kali.
Okay.
Kali, we could do an episode for sure. Shiva and Kali would be amazing.
Hell yeah.
But it's a partial lunar eclipse as well. So it's going to change like that. Everything can change like that, and the Pisces is all intuition and the subconscious, so it's going to amplify the subconscious. It's a good time to make big changes.
I just did. I just moved.
You're
raising llamas.
Yes, dude.
I
really
still
there's real llamas.
Now I want to believe.
Llama yoga.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you very much. I'm Lochlin Cross. That's EJ. I got the Sarah and Andrew in Frankfurt. Who knows where Andrew's going to be next time we do a podcast, but that was amazing.
That was incredible. I'm so grateful
Love
for you guys.
Oh,
See,
you guys are
live
the
works. We can make
best.
live work, guys.
Live is
believe in
nice.
us.
I like
love
it.
live.
Yes.
I feel
Why
All
do we
right.
even doubt it?
Yeah.
I didn't. I knew
We
it
never
would
should
work.
doubt ourselves. Yeah, we can do it.
All right. All right. Love you guys.
Love
Love
you.
you guys.
Love you.
Wolfpack, life is beautiful, ay. Life is beautiful, and life is beautiful. Life is beautiful.
It's the motherfucker.
Life is beautiful. Yeah, life is. Life is beautiful. The moon is full. I got great friends. Wolfpack funeral. To the bad vibes, yeah. Fuck the bad times, yeah. Higher consciousness, I see it through my third eye. I found people who got visions of a dream like mine. A place where standing ain't enough, and they convince you to fly. I'm rocking with my friends to the drum. Living out my life while I'm young. The Wolfpack, baby, well, it's only just begun. Howling at the moon, we found abundance in the sun. Life is beautiful, ay. Life is beautiful, and life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Yeah, life is. The pack runs deep, deep. I got nothing left to compete. We are all love, not see. I see. It's best to let it go and let it be. We are all. We are all whatever that we want. Okay. I see you and me. I see no more front. Nah. I see what you are. You see who I am. Yes. Wolfpack, baby, goddamn. And we're questioning our consciousness. Life is here to ponder it. If negative emotions do arise, then you can conquer it. A UFO flew by in the sky, and I'm wondering if ever they did land at my place, could we all be friends? And I got hella love for a friend that holds me down. The Wolfpack here right now, singing I could be me, I could be free, and you could be you. And shit, that's all I need. Like, and the moonlight shines down on my face. All my worries been replaced by hopes and dreams. I hope you say you will. Let the moon shine on my face. All my worries have been replaced by dreams and ambitions. I hope you listen when the moon is full. It'll grant your wishes. Hey.
It's the motherfucker.
Hey.
Wolfpack.
Life is beautiful. Yeah, life is.
It's the motherfucker. Wolf.